With the season ending, we tend to get into the coaching carousel, and we talked to Coach Pete again last year, because every year, even at Boise State, his name would come up for jobs.
Yeah.
And sometimes he said he just forgot to deal with it until recruits would actually call him and he'd have to deal with it. Your name's popping up. How are you dealing with it?
Don't believe what you read. Every year it's, they're going to have sources. Three months ago, I was involved with 3 different jobs. At the end of the day, me and my family are exceptionally happy here. I've worked for, a great leader in Jen Cohen, and I wanted to go someplace where we could build something special and be part of a great organization and surround yourself with great people, and I think I've done that. Love it here. Looking forward to building what we did on this year, and think we could make another major step forward. Simple.
Did you actually hear that stuff out there?
Listen, no offense, I don't read anything during the year. I don't. You know who does is my wife. So my wife will say, honey, I heard so-and-so. I heard so-and-so's leaving, and that's what they're saying. I'm like, honey, just don't talk to me. I love you, but just, you got to hold that one back. And it's funny, it's like even with the articles about our players and our team, because of so many family connections to my father and my mother, they get sent all this stuff. So my mom's making she's saving all the articles and putting it in a what's it called, a scrapbook, and then at the end of the year I can read them all and go through the year, which is kind of cool. But I try to stay focused during the year on the team. I mean, rumors are going to be rumors every year. That's what the business is. The good thing is like that University of Washington's relevant. We're being talked about, and that's a good thing. And that's a credit to our staff, what our staff has done, and our players. Those guys really committed themselves to something new and new people, new system, new everything, and they bought in and worked hard. And I think the biggest challenge, but the most exciting challenge, is what we can do for next year and how we can learn the lessons that we learned this year and build upon them and come back even better and stronger. And that's what's exciting for me.
You've been going full boogie since March last year when you were hired. Do you give yourself a break now before you get into the debriefing and looking back at the season, or what's the natural progression?
Not until you're undefeated. I don't know. I don't know. My wife was like, I'm a big meditator. I meditate, and I try to, before games, if it's a nice day, I'll go to near my house and do the water, and I'll sit on a bench and just, try to veg a little bit. But how I'm built, I'm just, I don't think there's ever any stop to trying to figure this thing out and to be the best that you can be. The culture in the athletic department, and what I loved with Jen was the growth mindset, and I've always feel like I've got to get better and always striving to be better, and that's what we're trying to implement with our players on a day-to-day basis. So, your last game is gone, and you lose, season's over, everybody's, it's a long season, but it's kind of like, oh, we're not playing anymore, now what? And now what is, how we can, make our systems better, from recruiting to nutrition to strength and conditioning to individual improvement to, every area of the organization. And that's the fun part. That's the build.
Do you have a to-do list for them, Mike, like a to-do list that you give to soon?
Yeah, well, we're in spring break right now, and we'll have a meeting Sunday night, and in terms of the next couple of weeks, in terms of academics, these guys have been part of the season, just pressing the reset button there and getting everything aligned, because we'll have the Final Four coaches meetings, all those different things, and then during that time we'll have individual meetings with the players in the next 2 weeks, and individual goal setting, academically, athletically, what their bodies need to look like, areas of their game, and that's the next round. The fun thing about now is I have a year under, we have a year under our belt of really understanding. Everybody was learning each other, and now I feel like there's more trust that's been built, and there's more understanding of what motivates and those different things. And now it's our job to get more out of them and to push them beyond greater limits. And that's the exciting part. That's why I love coaching.
To think about just kind of the way this year went, whatnot, what are some of the things that are going to stand out to you, not just so much from a development standpoint, but when you think about certain games, when you look at the offseason? I mean, is it, hey, losing 7 of the last 11? Is it playing better in close games? I mean, are those the things you think about, or is it something else altogether?
I think you go back and we had trouble with certain teams, and that was system. I think we have to be, figure out how we can make our system better. I think, I'd mentioned to you before, we exclusively went zone to have something to hang our hat on that was different than everybody else, and we created a belief. And we had the #1 defense in our league in league games, which is a great thing, but I think it can even be better. And I think we can, it's a great fastball, but we need a better off-speed pitch. We need the cutter and the speed and all those other things. But I think, that's, also based on your personnel. And so ways to refine that, how we can be more efficient offensively. I think there was times during the year where we were a little bit stagnant. But for the most part, there's always areas that we can improve and get better. And I think with our new class, there's some exciting players, and we can reestablish, what we set out to do, and that's, we've talked about a thousand times, always moving forward, and that's been our mindset and our mission, and we definitely will be doing that.
Is there a sense yet about your coaching staff and sort of as these sort of jobs pop up, you have a sense as to if they're all coming back?
Well, I'd worked at a place for a long time, and the one fun thing about, I think, coaching is, my job is to help people make their dreams come true, to help them be successful on and off the court and use basketball as a lesson to succeed. So, with all our coaches, I want them to grow. I want them to be better, and I hope that if their dream was to be in the NBA or to be a head coach again in another league, I'm not one of these guys who's do whatever you can to get them to stay. It's about growth. It's about where do you want to be. I think the great programs, I think one of the great things about the great programs is to see their coaching trees and to see not only, it might not be the assistant coaches, it might be GAs that end up becoming general managers, or guys in your team become doctors, whatever it may be. I think that's what shows strength of the program. So I'll be 1,000% supportive of any of our staff if they have an opportunity or something that I can help them, even if it's, it's like with a staff, we all, Coach Rice has been doing it for a long time, Coach Dollar, and we all have different relationships and people in the business. But anything that I can share in terms of my database to help them become better, it's on. And that's why I think our staff gets along so well. It's kind of like this shared group of information, almost like how do we all become the best that we can be. Not competing with each other, but growing together. And that's what's been a lot of fun in this first year. And I know as we move forward, that's what's also really exciting.
Speaking of the coaches, this year, talk to Coach Peter. How much have you kind of interacted with him during the Arizona game? He was really excited for how the game ended, and that video kind of, was really unlike Pete. Really kind of cool to see. Did you talk to him about this year? And kind of what's that relationship been like, and how much have you learned from him?
Well, the one thing about this university that was incredible is, first of all, how they brought me and my family, how they treated me and my family, and that's from all the coaches. You got one of the great coaches in our program right here behind you, and you have chances to learn from a lot of different people. And so, Coach Pete originally, when I had a chance to talk to him, I was like, Coach, I'd love to, come down and sit and talk to you. He goes, listen, I got a great guest speaker. Why don't you come in? And I went in, and he saw what he's all about and just tried to learn. As a coach, you're always trying to learn and steal from the best. And we've got a ton of great coaches here that we all try to learn and grow. And he was incredible to me. I had obviously a couple of questions earlier in the year, just how he handled certain situations, and he gave me just great advice. And so, relationships are always growing, and I can't wait to, I've talked to his strength and conditioning coach. I've talked to their other coaches. That's what makes, working at a great place so special. But I look forward to learning more.
Coach, as much as it's coaching carousel season, it's also player carousel.
Sure.
Guys, testing the waters with the NBA.
Yeah.
Guys, programs, anything, we need to know. I need to know all this.
Well, I think, we haven't had our end of the year meetings. We'll be having them when they get back. And so, my philosophy is always, obviously educate, and educate more. And so I don't like to make decisions for anybody, but I like teaching them how to make decisions. And you make good decisions by having the right information. And the one thing I know with the relationships and the experience that I have and the people that I know, as well as our staff, is we'll be able to give them the best information. But it goes back to the idea of it is our goal is to teach them how to make decisions. But if that's what their dream is, I'm going to do everything I can to support and help them make their dream come true. I think that's what's so much fun about this job. But I will tell you the one thing that we kept telling these guys is that's what winning does. Winning does what? Winning, there's internet rumors about coaching jobs. There's people talking about NBA. There's, people get first team, people get defensive player of the year because you win. It's a group effort. And so, with that being said, you want their dreams to come true, but also understanding that when you're part of a great team and you're part of something bigger than yourself, that's when great things happen like that.
Is it though unrealistic in this day and age of college basketball to bring everybody back?
I just think it's unpredictable. I just don't, you just don't know. And again, you just got to educate. There's, educate. But I do believe part of this whole education was what a great coach did for me. It's what my father did, is he taught me how to make decisions. And it's, how to get the best information, and you can make the best decision. Get bad information, you can make a bad decision. And so many times you'll see draft boards or different things or internet rumors, and that's coming from scouts or people that don't make the decisions. What you want to do is the people that end up pressing that button at the end, what do they think? What do they think? And we can get that.
Kind of staying along those lines, when you think about your recruiting class, you can't talk about all these, about 3 guys, but as far as your class as a whole, A, what's your thoughts, and B, do you see all 5 coming here? It seems like that's a lot of guys for one class.
Yeah, you know what, there's always, there's always player movement. I think the most important thing that I've learned is it's the program always has to be strong. You're always protecting the program, and no one's bigger than the program. And guys can leave early. Guys might not get their grade. There's so many different different issues with that. But that being said, that's the unpredictable part. The part that I think is the guys that we've got are perfect fits. They understand what we're trying to do here, value aligned, good academic students. And so, so much of this thing is not rating, it's fit. It's fit and value aligned. But I think we've got the right guys. Coach Rice always uses this word, and he says he's built right, or they're built right. And built right's built forward tough. No, but built right, it's interesting, but it's, seriously, it's, you're trying to, you're building a culture, and the best way to build a culture is to recruit culture. The hardest thing is to change, but if you can bring in, and it makes it easier in terms of the transition.
Couple more guys.
Do you think that your first year was a success or a missed opportunity, or?
Gosh. Well, I can tell you at the beginning of the year, if we were in a room not knowing, hadn't coached, I would say, if you said, what do you think your record would be, I would never give you a prediction. I would never, you don't know as a coach. You don't know how fast they're going to learn. You don't know if they're going to buy in. You don't know if they're going to have good chemistry. I think even early when we went to New York, you're like, geez, that was kind of a scary deal. We played well against Providence, but you saw what what our potential problems were, but we just kept getting better. The Kansas game was a sign that was a sign for both coaches and players, as if you do the right thing and you play the right way and you're committed to a game plan and you can execute a game plan and you're playing agenda-free basketball, guess what? You can beat anybody that you play. And that was, I think, proven in our year. Were we consistent with that? No, but that's part of what we're trying to build. So, I think we had some great moments, and we had some moments where, they could have been better. A couple of losses in overtime to Oregon State. You're a couple plays away from being, 23 and whatever, or you're, a couple plays from being 16 and 19. It's a fine line in this game. And but I was really happy that the kids never quit. I thought they fought all the way through, and that's a big part of this thing. I felt like we could have played more consistent at times, but that's what we're, as coaches, trying to build. And that's a culture thing. That takes years and more months. So to answer that question, I'll never probably say it's a successful season until we win the national championship. That's what we strive to do. I didn't come here to, make the NIT or to make the NCAA. I wanted to come and make noise and build something that's the pride of college basketball. And but I was really happy with the way that the guys responded and the way that the guys, I think, in terms of what we were last year, I would say it was a success.
Last one, guys. Given what's come out this year, especially about the state of college basketball, recruiting, and the implications of it with certain teams, given your experience at Syracuse and now a year as the head coach of Washington, what's your take just on the state of college basketball recruiting, and is there anything you can seriously say that would maybe make a drastic difference, or just kind of what is the status in your view?
You know what? I think we're going to learn a lot more about it. I haven't really sat down and studied it. But for the most part, I had said earlier, even with Sean Miller, there's a phantom tape out there. It goes back to like the internet was moving this whole deal. Now there might be one, but no one had heard it. But he couldn't coach because of it. So I just think until the facts are all out and everything is laid out, I'm sure I'll be able to make a strong opinion in terms of what I feel. But the game needs to change. It needs to get better. There's no room for cheating in the game of basketball. But I also believe that people shouldn't be accused without having facts of the case. I do believe that.
All right. Thank you. Thank you all.
And guys, thank you for being great to me for an entire year. I know next year there'll be snowballs, ice balls being thrown at me. Even during Halloween, if you throw candy. So big.